Well, hello there. I've got a question for you. Can we really live out our dreams, or is that an unrealistic desire? Today, we're going to dive into that question and a couple others on episode number 138 of the All Around Growth podcast. This show gives you some insight and tools to build the life and homestead of your dreams. My name is Rob Kaiser, and I am your host. Today is Tuesday, June 6th, 2021. We are coming back and returning to the day job for those of us who have a day job after a Memorial Day weekend. I hope you had a great weekend. And this morning, like every other morning, I would encourage you to follow the words of Dan Miller. Be very careful how you start your morning. You are planting the seeds for what the day will hold. If you get up late, grab a bad cup of coffee and a Twinkie, rush to work fuming at the idiots in traffic, and drop down exhausted at your desk at 8:10, you have set the tone for your day. Everything will seem like pressure, and your best efforts will be greatly diluted. You can read more on thoughts like that in Rudder of Your Day, Stories and Wisdoms to Kickstart Your Workday by Dan Miller. I've linked to that in the show notes. And like I started the episode, I read, can we really live out our dreams, or is that an unrealistic desire? And I actually brought the book with me because I read something this weekend. I read it again this morning, and it stuck with me and resonated so deeply with me that I wanted to share it with you and talk about it on the morning commute. We read, recently in working with a young man, he expressed this sentiment. My fear is that I will discover what I love doing, but by then be too old to enjoy a full life of living it out. Wow, what an approach avoidance conflict. Remember those from your introductory psychology classes? You want a cookie, but know that if you reach for one, your hand will get slapped. What about this above stated fear? When do you cross the line age-wise where it is just better not to want or know about a better life, but better to just exist and wait for the grave? Is it 35, 50, or 70? Is ignorance really bliss after all? I've had 27-year-olds who are fearful that they've missed the window of opportunity for a life well lived. If your dream was to play quarterback in the Super Bowl, that may be true, but for most of us, living out our dreams is not one event. We are hearing more and more about midlife career changes, early life experiences that are a wonderful help in the clarification process, helping us find that one true path for the most productive season of our lives. I have had the privilege of helping a dentist become a counselor, an attorney start an internet business, a pastor become an artist, and guiding a teacher to a fulfilling and productive season of writing. Look for recurring themes in things that get your attention. Is it art, music, children, old people, cars, caring and nurturing, birds, reading, flying? Don't think that your dream needs to be new and revolutionary. We all know someone like Susie who sells seashells by the seashore, but most lives of fulfillment may look ordinary to an observer. We find that even those who end up extremely wealthy are not necessarily doing something rare. Rather, the critical element is that they are doing something they truly enjoy. Quote, cherish your visions and your dreams as they are the children of your soul, the blueprints of your ultimate achievements. Close quote. Napoleon Hill, motivational author. Your dream will integrate your 1. Skills and abilities, 2. Your personality traits, and 3. Your values, dreams, and passions. Trust your heart in this process. It's more intuition than logic. And be confident you can live out your dreams. Don't settle for less. And remember, you're not old until regrets take the place of dreams. Quote, I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams, and your young men will see visions. That's from Amos chapter 2, verse 28. And finally, a couple questions for us to ponder today. What are the recurring themes of interest in your life, and have you acted on those? Today I'm going to talk about this in a personal manner because of the fact that this resonated so deeply with me. The recurring themes of interest in your life may be different, but I would encourage you to capture those thoughts in some way, shape, or form. And reflect on them and ultimately ask yourself if you have acted on those. I fear as well that I will discover what I love doing, but by then be too old to enjoy a full life of living it out. There's so much here that struck a chord with me, and I have some security in life finally, after years of feeling as though I was hanging on by a thin thread. And I feel like the baby steps by Dave Ramsey have allowed me to build a strong foundation for the house of life that I am living in. This process of the baby steps was critical for me in allowing me to get some additional clarity that I did not think was possible. And since I became debt-free almost a year ago, and have subsequently been working steadily at baby step 3, despite the fact that there have been some setbacks with truck maintenance and health problems and various other things that cost money, I've still made progress. I have a good and solid emergency fund set in place, and I am working towards other goals now, some of which I need to better articulate and write. But again, for most of us, living out our dreams is not one event. Living out our dreams is not simply getting out of debt and developing some savings so that we can continue on with our mediocre lives and remain comfortable in the complacency that oftentimes leaves us feeling miserable. What are the early life experiences that you have had that stick out to you, that can help in this clarification process? For me, I've always been involved in the green industry in some way, shape, or form. In the outdoors. I was talking with my mom just this weekend as we were getting some things done around the homestead, and right in the middle of our conversation, she found me staring up into the sky, watching the vultures fly. and she told me about how I was just so fascinated with them as a kid, and I would watch them fly around, but I thought they were hawks. And we have an abundance of hawks flying around as well. And nevertheless, just a fascination with birds, flight, other animals, plants. Many of the memories that I write about in the self-authoring book, or the self-authoring program that I'm using as a framework to write a book, write my autobiography, many of the memories that I spend time writing about are centered around this theme. And I'm at a point where permaculture has been on my radar for almost a decade now. And that is also a recurring theme in life, as well as community, the desire to volunteer and get to know people on a personal level. And I've been doing that. What have I done to act on them and continue doing so? Well, when I moved back here, I thought that I didn't know what I was going to do. You see, in 2013, late 2013, I was in a coma. And I'd talked about that in the past. And I didn't necessarily quit my job. I didn't necessarily get fired. After the coma, when I came back here, it was just understood that I needed some time to recover, and that's what I did. And I wasn't really driving at that point. I was just in a rough spot in life. And eventually I did leave my job because I realized that I wasn't going to be able to, nor did I necessarily want to, continue along the path that I was on in this corporate world. So for a few months, I didn't work at all. I spent a lot of time walking in the woods and collecting myself and trying to figure out what it was that I was going to do. And I happened across the current job where I'm at. My dad at that time was doing closings and working for a company that would do all the closing paperwork on real estate transactions. And the owner of the company at that time had purchased a property near the farm, and my dad went to the tree farm to work out the final logistics of the paperwork. Seeing as I've worked on 3 other tree farms, several other nurseries in the past, he asked if they were hiring. As a matter of fact, they were. And this has been a good job in many ways. I have a lot of gratitude for the owner, the manager, my teammate, Sam, my partner, who has helped me create this system of inventory management that was previously not in place. But with the way things are growing and developing on the homestead, the manner in which I've gone to go about facilitating that growth and development myself and in conjunction with my family. I no longer believe that living out my dreams is an unrealistic desire. I believe, as a matter of fact, that it's very realistic. And just one of the ways in which I am going about the continued planning and development of the life of my dreams is through the continued recording of episodes just like this. Because when we read things like this in the Rudder of your day, or the Rudder of the day, stories and wisdoms to kickstart your workday, it provides good food for thought on what and how we can live the life and build the homesteads of our dreams. And that's what this show is all about, giving you some insight and tools to build the life and homestead of your dreams. So think about these questions throughout your day. Think about the recurring themes of interest in your life, and consider the ways in which you have acted upon those. And if you haven't, do so. To continue the dialogue on this subject and so much more, consider joining the All Around Growth community. We're over on Telegram, t.me/allaroundgrowth on your internet browser, or if you've got the Telegram Messenger app on your phone, you can find us by searching for All Around Growth. If you listen to the podcast via iTunes or Apple Podcasts, go to the show notes and click to rate and review the podcast. You'll see a link in all capital letters. Right now, the majority, about half, a little more than half of the listeners tune in through Apple Podcasts or iTunes or whatever it is now. And a rating and a written review, if you feel so inclined, really helps out the algorithms. Or if you're not a listener on one of those or that platform, just give it a rating on your podcast player of choice, or better yet, share it with a loved one or share it on social media. In the show notes as well, there's a link to all of the past episodes. Just follow that link. It'll take you right there. A couple scrolls, you can see what 130 some episodes has delivered. And hopefully, again, that will give you some insight and tools to build the life and homestead of your dreams. If you have any questions or feedback for me, you can shoot me an email at allaroundgrowth@gmail.com, or the best way is to just join the community over on Telegram, t.me/allaroundgrowth, or just search for All Around Growth if you've got the Telegram Messenger app on your phone, your computer, or tablet, whatever kind of device floats your boat. That's it, everybody. I appreciate you tuning in for another episode of the All Around Growth podcast. I sincerely appreciate you taking your time and sharing it with me here today. I look forward to catching you on the next episode. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great week. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.